If you're a serious Spanish student, you're familiar with the problem of wanting to practice Spanish on your own, but not being sure if what you're practicing is really productive for the confidence that you need to speak and understand Spanish in real life. The tool that I'll share with you today is going to change all of that. This is a vault of Spanish audio resources written and produced by native Spanish speakers. It'll challenge you every day to speak out loud and to practice your listening comprehension with a level of randomness and variety that imitates real life. These quizzes extensively use the top 500 words in the Spanish language in challenging and unpredictable ways. So it's designed for any Spanish learners who have completed Lesson 12 of the free Accelerated Spanish course or who have completed our 1-month challenge and the 2-month follow-up program after that. What this is a series of downloadable audio files that will prompt you to either say things in Spanish or comprehend some Spanish that's spoken. There are 2 main types of files in here. If it says audio quiz, what's going to happen is you'll hear an English sentence, and then you're supposed to guess the Spanish and say it out loud. Then you'll hear the Spanish to see whether you predicted correctly, and then there's an opportunity to repeat the Spanish out loud again. If it says comprehension, it'll do the opposite. You'll hear the Spanish first, and then see if you can come up with the English from the Spanish. If you do nothing else, I recommend using the audio quiz files and leaving the comprehension ones for later. You'll also notice that there are multiple dialects of Spanish here. There's Latin American Spanish, which is the variety of Spanish spoken throughout most of the Americas, and then there's Castilian Spanish, which is the type you'll hear in Spain. When choosing audio files to practice with, just pick the dialect that's relevant to you and ignore the others. Now, I'll talk about how to make the most of this tool in a minute, but first let's talk about why it's important to practice with a tool like this. First of all, many students are tempted to practice Spanish one sentence at a time, repeating the same thing over and over until they've perfected it. But research actually shows that what's much more effective than repetition is productive variety in your practice. In other words, switching up what you're practicing in a kind of random way. These sentences are written by native speakers, and they're written from randomized content. So you're accessing your entire library of Spanish grammar and syntax while you practice. It keeps you quick on your toes in the most constructive way possible. Second, this tool encourages you to speak out loud. It should be obvious, but speaking is the most important thing you can do in your solo Spanish study, and unfortunately, it's one of the most neglected areas for many Spanish students. If you give yourself a policy where you'll practice with these resources at least once every day, and when you do, you'll speak out loud, you've solved that problem. Third, this tool will help you avoid practicing wrong. It's not enough just to practice Spanish. If you want to be fluent and actually be understood by native speakers, it's essential that you practice correct Spanish. These sentences are written by native speakers, and they incorporate the most important grammar and syntax in the language. So not only will you be practicing out loud regularly, you'll be practicing accurately when you use this tool. In other words, if you use these resources effectively, they'll help you cut through the overwhelm of learning a language and go straight to practicing the important stuff every day. Now let's talk about how to use this tool. One really simple way to start practicing with this tool is just to choose an audio quiz or a comprehension quiz, click on the link, and then just start practicing. But to get even more from this, what I recommend is that you download all of the files that are relevant to your learning, put them on your computer or smartphone, and then shuffle them every day. For example, let's say you're learning Latin American Spanish, which is what most of our students learn. If that's the case, you could ignore all the Castilian Spanish files, download all the Latin American Spanish files by going to the file, clicking on the audio file button, and then clicking on the download button. Then, use your operating system's native music application to create 2 playlists. One of the playlists will be called Spanish audio quizzes, and the other one will be Spanish Comprehension. Then, each day, as a part of your study routine, all you have to do is hit the shuffle button on each of those playlists, and you're golden. You'll be randomizing audio material in Spanish so that you're speaking Spanish out loud in an unpredictable order every day. This is actually the exact technique that I personally have been using in my own Spanish quizzing recently. It's how I stay sharp on Spanish grammar, speaking, and listening, even when I'm not having Spanish conversations every day. Here's the best part. If you save the link in the description of this video, you can keep visiting this tool and getting more and more quizzing material to practice with. My team is going to be adding new material to this file every month, so if you want, you can sign up for alerts every time we add new review materials. Just send me an email and I'll get you set up with that. Timothy@masterofmemory.com. Once you've started using this new free tool, the one thing left, of course, is to try putting these skills that you're practicing into real-life conversation practice. If you've ever been interested in getting a Spanish coach, but you've never been able to afford it, check out the second link in the description of this video. We now offer group conversation coaching, which is perhaps the most high-value Spanish coaching service we've ever offered. You'll get 2 hours of face-to-face coaching per week at half the price that we normally charge for coaching. We're now able to offer this because we'll work with you in small groups, typically groups of 3 or 4 students at a time. You'll be matched with some other Spanish learners at your own level so that these sessions are as productive as possible. And one of our world-class native-speaking experts will train you to fluency face-to-face twice a week on your schedule. One way or another, bookmark the tool that I talked about in this video and make sure to start practicing out loud on a daily basis. It'll do wonders for your Spanish abilities and propel you toward fluency.